welcome back to my channel. It has been months. I know it has been months since you've seen me, since I seen you, but let me tell you, a lot has happened, which has brought me back to YouTube. Finally, I feel like I finally have my life together. God finally got my life together. And so I feel like it's only right that I share this testimony with you guys, because I really want you to see that God cares about everything concerning you, okay? He cares about your career. God cares about your life. God cares about you as a human being. He cares about your heart. He cares about your mind. He cares about the relationships that you develop with other individuals. He cares about it all. So if you are in a season where you feel like God does not care about you, or he may be slow in an area, please remember that God is never slow in his promises. The Bible tells us that. And please know that he is really working it out for your good. And sometimes you may not see him working it out in the physical, but know that he's working it out for you in the background, which is a part of my testimony that I'm going to share with you guys today concerning my career. So let's get into it, y'all. If you have watched any of my previous videos, you know that I was studying to become a registered dietitian. I did my internship with my previous job, and I had to pass the test in order to become registered. So the first time I took the test, I did not pass, and I was so crushed and so hurt because hours and hours and hours of studying went into this. And so the fact that I didn't score, I scored, you have to have a 25 to score. I think I scored maybe like a 22. I was so crushed that I had to like start back over again. So it's like, okay, let me just, study again. So I took maybe like a week off, went right back into studying, took the test a second time, did not pass again. And I was so upset and I was so hurt because I felt like, God, I'm doing the things, right? I'm putting in the effort. I'm putting you in my studying, like putting you first. I'm praying, I'm fasting, I'm doing all of these things, God, and I'm not seeing you come through on my end, right? So this third time that I had took the test, I really had a different approach to it, and I made sure that I was intentional about the things that I were doing as it came to my prayer, because I feel like sometimes we do things just to get God's attention, like, okay, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna fast because I need you to do this for me, and we kind of treat God like a genie. But this time I was like more intentional and just let God's will be done. God, whatever it is, that you desire for me for my future with this test or passing this test, I'm just gonna trust you. I'm gonna lay it out all on the table. And so I ended up taking a week off from work to study, and I truly believe that allowed me the time to pass, and that allowed me the time to just worship God. And so when I was studying, like, God was sending me different little reminders that like you're going to pass, right? So I remember two things. One thing, I was at a coffee shop and I was studying my material. I was reading it front to back, and a ladybug came and it went on my test paper. So ladybugs mean good luck. I don't really believe in luck, but everything was created by God. So I'm just like, okay, God, maybe you're sending me a message that I'm gonna do fine. And then, like, right before my test, I was cleaning up, and the number 27 just came to my mind. Mind you, for the test, you need a 25 or higher to pass. So the number 27 just came up in my spirit. Like, I was really just minding my own business, and number 27 came up. And so I ended up taking the test, and I ended up making a 27. And I was like, oh my gosh, God, like you really came through for me. And I remember through the course of me studying, I held on to the verse Isaiah 60:22. When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. And so I just kept proclaiming that. I was proclaiming that when I was in the shower. I was speaking positive things. My language began to change. I started saying, God, I'm going to pass. I will pass. Nothing can stop me from passing. Nothing can stop what you have for me. Like, before I wasn't doing those things, I wasn't speaking those things, I wasn't speaking positively. I was just kind of going through the motions trying to get God to be God. And I believe this third time around, God was showing me you don't have to do all of that. Like, just be intentional with me, just be honest with me about how you feel. Tell me like you're upset with me, give it all to me, and take upon, you know, the verse that says, take upon my yoke, for it's easy and light. And you know, give me your burdens. And so that's what I did this third time around. I gave I gave it all to God, and God really came through and showed out for me. And so during my internship, y'all, I wanted a job in school nutrition because I loved it. I fell in love with just being out there and talking with the students, creating nutrition education material, creating promotional like material, marketing, like all of those things that embody school nutrition. I loved it. So I knew for a fact that that was something that I wanted to do. And so I remember my preceptor, she was sending me jobs and I was applying to jobs in school nutrition. I wasn't getting it. I really wanted to work for her school, her school county, and I remember that I had everything that they need, but I didn't have the 10 years of experience that they were looking for. I only had 7. And so again, I felt like I was in another position of just being frustrated and being kind of upset. Not upset with God, but just being upset like, oh, I got over one hurdle and now I have to try to get over another hurdle. And I remember she sent me this one job and I ended up applying for the job. Had no idea, never heard of where the job was. So I ended up applying for the job, and y'all, I did not even finish the application. You know how when you do a job application and they start asking you all these different questions, and you're just like, you know what, I don't even feel like doing this no more. They starting to ask me too much. Now I gotta really think and like put effort into my answer. Because sometimes they give you those little free text where they'll ask you a question and you put your response in. I'm just like, oh, whatever. So I closed it and I'm like, I'm just gonna do it later. And so later that week, that next week, I got an invite to interview. So I'm like, God, how did I get an invite to interview for an application that I didn't even finish? So I'm gonna read y'all something that I wrote in my journal. I wrote it on May 23rd. And let me just tell y'all that God is so good. I wrote this on May 23rd, and I started proclaiming and speaking that, you know, even though these other jobs didn't work out, like this job was going to be for me. Because let me tell y'all, with school nutrition jobs, because of the pay, because of the longevity that you can have in the career, people do not leave these positions once they get these jobs. Like, they retire from these type of jobs because, you know, you get holidays off, you get different, you know, school days off. It just has a lot of perks to it. So I'm gonna read y'all what I wrote in my journal. So it says, Dear God, this is on May 23rd, y'all, 2024. It says, Dear God, how did I get an invitation to interview for a position I hadn't finished applying for? Is this you? Is this what you desired for me? I am ready to follow your lead, God. Whatever you say, go, and whatever you tell me to do. May it be a safe place, a place to grow, a place to learn myself, a place to learn you, a place that has a good environment. I'm choosing to believe this is your doing and that I will be paid out of my contract and I will make enough, more than enough, money to live comfortably. God, I thank you in advance for this blessing. I thank you for loving me and keeping your hand on me. I don't know what it is you want with me because I've let you down so many times, but I greatly appreciate the love you have for me, and I know I have the capabilities to love you even more than I do now, as long as I keep pushing and fighting my way to you. Everything in your timing, God. No matter the outcome, I am thankful for the opportunity. Amen. Your daughter, Ivrion. And I said, I will be a nutrition school coordinator in blank city. The job is already mine. And so, like, I'm one of those people, well, someone has told me that whenever you are like trying to, how can I say this? Whenever you are feeling frustrated in your season, whenever things aren't working out for you, go back to that first thing that got God's attention. And for me, that's journaling. So I had to go back to that place where I was really writing to God, that place where I was seeking God the most. And that's through my writing, because it just free flows for me. That's one of the things that I have been told throughout the course of my life that I'm good at. And so I wrote that down, I proclaimed it, and I said, God, no matter the outcome, like, I trust you, no matter the outcome, this is going to work out for me. And I truly believe that we have to go into every situation, every opportunity with that mindset. God, no matter the outcome, I'm still going to trust you. No matter the outcome, you are still good. No matter the outcome, my career, my life, my finances, my heart is still in your hands. Like, God literally has control of our entire life. And so going back to my story, I had to go through like 2 interviews. I ended up getting the job, which is where I am now, hence the new background, the new place. It's very spacious. It's a place that I didn't think that I would be able to ever afford, because I have always lived in my old little tiny apartment, and I would see people all the time, and watching different YouTubes, and people have these nice grand luxury apartments, and I just always wanted it, but it just felt like it was just out of reach for me because of the money that I was making from my previous job, which wasn't bad, but it just wasn't enough to support what I wanted. So it took time, y'all. It took 7 years for me to get to this point. 7 years of being patient, 7 years of seeking God, and still trying to keep God first through all the hardships that has happened within those 7 years. And so I just truly believe that, again, Isaiah 60:22, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. That is going to happen. It will happen for you. And when the time is right, it will happen on time. Like, for me, I probably, if I would have passed my test in the timing that I wanted to pass my test, this opportunity may not have came up for me. If I wanted to pass the test in the time that I passed my test, I maybe would have not been ready for this opportunity. So many things, you don't know the background, so many things could have happened to where this opportunity didn't come to me, but it came to me at the right time. I passed my test in March. I ended up applying for this job in May, got an invitation to interview 2 months after I passed my test, and then 2 months after that moved to where I am now. So it was like bam, bam, bam. Like, God did that for me, and it just showed that this whole time He had me in mind, even when I felt like He didn't have me in mind, even when I felt like, God, did you did you forget about me? Did you do you not, care about me? Because sometimes we have those moments where, we know who God is, but sometimes our thoughts can still kind of like have an effect on us to make us feel like God doesn't care. And God cares about everything concerning you. So if you're somebody that's struggling like with your career, just know that God is orchestrating that thing for you, that He is lining up the things in place so that you can walk right into your blessing. I truly feel like I walked right into my blessing. And this is just a testimony to show that it does not matter how many times that you feel like you felt like you messed up, how many times you felt like, oh my gosh, I didn't do what God told me to do, I'm not being obedient in this area, that God still has grace and He still has mercy on you, and that He will never leave you nor forsake you. He says you can make your bed in the pits of hell and He will still be there. And that just shows that even if you mess up, if you continue to put forth the effort, if you continue to get up and say, okay, I messed up yesterday, but today I'm going to get right back in my word. I'm going to study to show myself approved. I'm going to indulge myself in God. I'm going to worship. I'm going to acknowledge Him in everything. Then God will work that thing out for you, y'all. Acknowledgement is something that we all can do. I think sometimes we make God so complicated and we think that we have to do all of these things, but God just wants to be acknowledged, and He wants to be acknowledged in the little things. He wants to be acknowledged in your career. So like in this situation, I put God into the equation and said, God, like, I'm speaking these things over my life. You know I want this position. You know I want this type of career, God. But nevertheless, no matter the outcome, I still trust you. And so I just continue to also just change my language. You know, we can a lot of times say, well, I hope I get this job, which is something that I would do. I hope I get this job. I think I'm gonna get this job. I think they like me. You know, I think I'm gonna do well on the interview. No, start saying I'm going to do well on this interview. They will hire me. Before I went into my internship, before I went into this interview, y'all, I said that favor will be upon me, that the Lord will go before me and he will touch everybody that's in there to make them see something in me, to make them want to hire me. God, you go before me in this room. God, saturate that room with your presence. Allow them to see you in me. Allow them to see the Holy Spirit in me, God. Allow them to see that I am a great candidate. Allow them to see that I am going to help them, excel their program, push their program forward, God, that I can bring fresh new ideas to the table. And when I spoke with confidence. And that's another thing, because we can say, or we can mope and all that stuff like that. But no, speak with confidence, declare what it is that you want God to do for you, and believe in your heart that it's going to be done. And so, again, timing, y'all, timing is everything. And so please know that a lot of times things do not happen in our timing, because if it did, it'll be all wrong. I know we've heard this 1,000 times. You know, if it would have happened in our timing, we wouldn't have been ready for it. But when it happens in God's timing, it'll flow effortlessly. This blessing for me was effortlessly. It's like I walked into this blessing, like God had this blessing just for me. The fact that I did not even finish applying to the application, I did not even finish applying to the job, that the person reached out to me. And that's the thing, like when God has something for you, like, you're not gonna have to work hard to get it. God is gonna send people to you. God is gonna have people looking for you. Like, your name is gonna be in that room. And so I really pray that this message encouraged you. I pray that you stay blessed and to know that God does care about you. He cares about your career. God cares about your heart. God cares about your finances. He cares about everything concerning you, and he wants the best for you. So stay encouraged. Know that God is going to do it just for you. Know that he is working it out in the background. Even though you cannot see it in the physical, it's working in the spiritual. Continue to know that when the time is right, y'all, when the time is right, I, the Lord, make it happen. And I was listening to, oh my gosh, is it Travis Green White? It's called Set a Tent. Like, that song came on before my test. Before I took my test, that song came on, and she was saying, like, I don't want the promise without the promise keeper. She was saying, so Exodus 33 verse 13 through 16, which is what she was talking about in the song, it says, if it is true that you look favorably upon me, this is Moses, let me know your ways so I may understand you more fully and continue to enjoy your favor. And remember that this nation is your very own people. The Lord replied, I will personally go with you, Moses, and I will give you rest. Everything will be fine for you. Then Moses said, if you don't personally go with us, don't make us leave this place. How will anyone know that you look favorably on me and your people if you don't go with us? For your presence among us sets your people and me apart from all other people on the earth. And so the difference between you and someone else that may be applying from this job is God's presence. So that's one of the things, like I said, that's why I was proclaiming, God, your presence goes before me, because God's presence is a difference maker, which is again what she said in that song. And just because of God's presence over you, that will allow someone in that room to see that, hey, you are a good candidate. So continue to speak God's presence over your life. Continue to proclaim that this job is yours, this career is yours, that God, you care about my career, that God, you will allow me to succeed in this position, that God, you withhold no good thing from me, that God, I do not lack anything with you, God, that I am fully equipped. And so when you speak with confidence, the more that you'll see God's favor over your life. He has favor over you anyway, but the more that you will see, like, and see and believe and have more confidence to speak even greater things. Because sometimes we start off with those small things, the job, the car, the house. But like when it comes to those bigger things that we are desiring, or those bigger things that God wants us to have spiritually, like we become more confident in speaking those things over our lives, and there's power in the tongue. And so when we speak those things, they have more of a chance to come into fruition versus when we don't. So again, I pray that this video has helped you, that it has encouraged you. I really want you guys to speak positive, to declare those things, to include God in your plans, to acknowledge Him, and to know that His presence sets you apart from any other candidate that may be applying for that position. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. I want to be more on YouTube. I want to be on YouTube a lot more now since I have the time now. I'm in a new city. I don't know nobody. So that gives me a lot of time to make some videos for y'all. But I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.